Okay, here's our first word problem. So here, this person Ariel has saved up or given $3,500 and has taken a summer visit to Seattle. And she anticipates spending about that much per week, $400, excuse me, per week on rent, food, and other stuff. Okay. We want to know, how long can she afford to stay in Seattle? How long can she afford to stay in Seattle? Okay, well, so we read the problem, right? We read that. And there are two quantities that are changing, as we can see, right? For one thing, time is changing. How long she's going to be there. How many weeks she's going to be there. That's a changing quantity. I mean, we don't know how long that is, but it's still changing. It's not constant. And how much money she has. Or let me say it this way, the amount of money that she has left over, right? She has saved $3,500, and we want to know how much money she has left over. So what we can do is we could take M, how much money she has left over. We're going to take that as our output variable. Okay, we're going to take that because that depends on how long she wants to stay. And time will be our independent variable. Generally, time will be the independent variable, but it may not be, but I want to say for the most part it will be. And in this case, the time is in weeks. So time in this case is in weeks. Okay. Now, so that's the first two steps. Now, well, maybe not the two-step, but we want to know how long she can stay there till. She's only going to be able to stay until she runs out of money. Once she's out of money, she can't afford to do anything else. She's going to have to leave. So based on our notation, she can only stay until M is 0. M is how much money she has left. She can only stay until M is 0. So basically, we want to somehow figure out when M is 0. So we need to get M in terms of X. Now, can we do that? Well, we are given important information, right? They give us information for a reason, right? I mean, for instance, they tell us she's starting out with $3,500 and she's spending $400 a week. $400 each week. That's a rate of change. $400 each week. Again, also, excuse me, that's also a good way to tell what your input and output variable are in a rate of change. The units for output are on top. The units for input are in the denominator. So $400 each week. Okay, so since we have that, we know that M is going to be linear, right? That's our rate of change, because as we know, each week she's spending $400. The amount of money she has left over decreases by $400. Okay, that's good. Well, from there, we can actually figure out what M is in terms of X. I mean, we probably could do some number crunching if we want to. How much she has after week 1, how much she has after week 2, to try and figure out, to try and get a better idea of what's happening. But I think we have that already. But we can get M in terms of X. That's actually not so bad, right? She starts out with $3,500. That's her initial value. She's spending $400 a week. So the rate of change for M would be negative 400. As you can see. So that's why M is this equation. Okay, that's good. Okay, now the question, okay, oh, darn. Okay, but now what we want to do next, press the wrong button again. We want to somehow know when m is 0, right? In other words, we want x so that m of x is 0. How do we do that? We set m equal to 0 and solve for x. Now it's basic algebra, and that's what I'm doing here. And as you can see, after the algebra, you get x in terms, you set m to be 0 and you get solve for x, you end up with this. So she can stay about 8.75 weeks before she runs out of money. Okay, that does make sense mathematically. If we got something negative, then that wouldn't make sense, right? So, okay. So that's our answer there. I mean, I guess the book goes a little bit more into it, but there's other things I guess they said you could consider. For instance, if the rental unit, I mean, we don't know how they charge, but if they charge by the week, then she's going to run out of money after the 8th week because she can't afford another week. But if they charge by the day, then she's okay, I guess. I mean, they go a little bit more into it than I do in the book, so just letting you know. I want to ask, though, 1 second.